right. Okay.
Good evening, everybody. This is the monthly meeting of the Mansfield Sustainability Committee. It's September 14th, 2022 at 6 p.m. My name is Lynn Stoddard. I'm the chair of the committee, and I'm calling the meeting to order. And let's just do some quick introductions. We have at least one guest. So I'll just call your names out. You can say hello. Katie and Al.
Hi.
I'm the representative from Planning and Zoning to Sustainability.
And I'm on town council, same liaison
Great.
role.
Thanks, great to have you here. Lena, hi.
Hi. I forgot what my title is. I think I'm just like a
You're an
floater.
alternate.
I'm an alternate. That's it. Yeah. It's nice to see everybody.
Good to see you. Matt, I see your name. Oh, let's go with you, Peter. I see your face. Sorry, then we'll go back to Matt.
Peter Millman, guy around town.
Excellent. Valuable sustainability team member, committee, Matt Lisi. Hi.
I am a resident of Mansfield and also the E.O. Smith High School representative.
Excellent. Ginny.
And I'm Ginny Walton, and I am the recycling coordinator, but I staff this meeting. And Bill Lennon is joining us.
Hi, Bill. I can see you.
Yeah, there you go.
Can you hear us okay?
Nope, he's muted.
Okay. Bill's working on his connection. Jen, hi. You want to unmute and say hello? Tell us who you are, for those who don't know.
I'm Jen Stone. I'm a longtime resident, and I'm just sitting in to see what you guys are up to and see how I might help.
Excellent. We love it. Welcome. Bill, can you hear us? Okay. Do you want to unmute and say hello or just wave? He's talking. We can't hear you, but Bill Lennon's been a longtime committee member. Up to you, Bill. You can try to unmute, but it's great to see you and have you here. No worries. Great. Okay. So first agenda item would be to approve. Oh, hi, Bill. You want to say hello?
I didn't know. Okay. Yes, I am. Hi, I
Hi.
didn't. No, it's tough, man. It's tough.
It's great to see you.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Bill.
How you
Thanks
doing?
for managing the technology.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
So far so good. Okay. Yeah, so first agenda item is approving the July 13th minutes. I will entertain a motion to approve.
If anybody wants me to share the minutes, I can do that. Is there any need for that?
I'll make a motion to accept them as presented.
Thanks, Katie. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thanks. Was you Al?
That was Al.
Okay, great. All right, so we have a motion. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Any opposed? Please let us know. And any abstentions? Okay, so moved, unanimous. Great, thanks. Second agenda item, climate action resolution follow-up. So Ginny attached the resolution with the meeting agenda and information. A quick refresh. Over the course of, gosh, maybe a year, we worked on this resolution. We looked at what other towns had done. A lot of them were really just a statement that climate's an emergency and we care about it. And we felt it needed a little more teeth and had some input from some folks on the town council and the town manager. And so we worked it into this resolution that sets a goal for town greenhouse gas emissions. So from our own operations or buildings, fleets, schools owned by the towns to get to net zero carbon greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. And in the second part, as you can see, that the mayor would be directed all town departments, including the schools, to do a couple things. One, the town needed to look at a baseline number of where we were with greenhouse gas emissions, kind of in the various realms of buildings, vehicles, and so on. And the second piece was that each department head will identify climate actions already implemented and prioritize actions for implementation. And we strongly acknowledged the previous work that had been done through the Mansfield Tomorrow Plan and the Climate Task Force and so on. So this wasn't like a call to have them create from scratch things they should be doing, to kind of look over the good work of the past and select the major priorities and opportunities that lie ahead. So that was passed on, almost a year. Was it September 13th, right?
Oh, yeah.
At the bottom, I think it says, Ginny. So a year ago, yeah, how about that? A year ago yesterday. And so we thought it was time to revisit, and I reached out to the town manager and asked for a report and overview. He replied that he's on it. I didn't give him much time before this meeting, so I'm sure we'll hear from Ryan soon. But I do know that some work was done on the baseline stuff, and Ginny, if you are able to report on that, and Al or anyone else, if you know of anything that's been happening that the town council is aware of, would love to hear that as well. Ginny, you want to start us off?
Sure. So the town did, in this past year, we've moved from one type of benchmarking system to the EPA's Portfolio Manager benchmarking program, which is where we got a baseline report on greenhouse gas emissions. So that was reported out. The heating and electrical use of the buildings and any different fuels. The building information was reported out to administrators, key administrators, this past March, and the vehicle data as well, but that's not part of the report, the vehicle data, so because Portfolio Manager does not record that, nor and product consumption. I've not, yeah, I'm still working on that. I really need a way of translating that into greenhouse gas emissions for some of the products that are used within the municipality, and haven't been able to quite iron that out. So, but the vast majority of the information is in the hands of the town manager, the Board of Education, both the superintendents of all the schools, E.O. Smith and K through 8. So, and then where each department head is identifying actions that have been implemented and prioritizing them. I don't know where that stands. So you're muted, Lynn.
Sorry about that. On the baseline, let's just talk about the baseline report stuff first. I think you might have shared some of the results in a previous meeting, Ginny, but knowing that some of that work was done, let's hear from the committee. You did share it, right, with the committee after that? Yeah,
I did, yes. And I'm sorry, I don't have it to load up this evening.
yeah, that's fine.
Thing.
So we know that a good amount of work was done. It's really hard to, it's not like an easy, like push the button to get these baselines. So getting that information on the building electricity use and the vehicle stuff is huge. And if the committee would like, we can plan a time at another meeting to dig into that and get a refresh. So does anyone have any comments or observations or memory of that data or requests to kind of dig into it at a upcoming meeting?
I would be curious to see Ginny's baseline data, portfolio manager stuff at a future meeting.
Great. Yeah, I think let's plan that for maybe the next meeting, assuming that we'll probably also hear from the town manager by then with like a little bit of an overview of what the department chairs have been doing in the town in terms of identifying actions. Does anyone, Al or anyone, has that come to the town council at all since last year that you're aware of, or?
No, I'm not aware of any discussions like that.
Okay, so you guys approved it, kind of got put in the town manager's hands, and we want to be sure to follow up. So yeah, we'll get that information from Ryan, and perhaps he would even join us at the meeting. Ginny, if you're willing to extend the invitation, and certainly we know he's very busy, so we will be very happy just for like an email response or something, whatever's easy for him.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
And the number 3, where it says the town commits to educating Mansfield residents. So that is in part going to be fulfilled, I believe, at the Mansfield Festival, which we'll be talking about later.
Nice. Yeah.
Shall I stop sharing this?
Yeah, that would be great. Just people have it in their email. It's easier to see people's faces this way. All right. So that is the next agenda item, the Celebrate Mansfield stuff. But before we move into that, other questions, observations, conversation, Peter?
Just before we move on, not to go off on a detour, but since we were talking about portfolio manager and baseline, since Al is here, has there been much talk yet about the future, a future discussion on the future of the 2 elementary schools that are going to be closed? Has that started yet?
Not really, to be honest with you. I have not heard anything about that. I just haven't. I've heard rumors just like everybody else, but I haven't heard any discussions about that.
Great, thanks. Sorry to divert into that.
Yeah, it is a good question related to this whole big picture. Any other thoughts or requests for information regarding keeping the feet to the fire on the resolution?
I have a question. Is now portfolio will give you reports, right, on usage and that. Do you need somebody to take like raw information and compile it into like a spreadsheet or something like that?
The reports do that.
Okay.
So a lot of the information from the buildings are automatically loaded onto Portfolio Manager from Eversource and Connecticut Natural Gas. But there is some data input that needs to be done, and that's done in the finance department when the when the bill comes in.
Right.
So, and then there's some of these little solar systems where you actually have to go out and read the meter. And that kind of falls through the cracks. So yeah, and actually I should probably do that because nobody else seems to do that. So
Do we need a volunteer for a meter reader if it's relatively straightforward?
a month going down into the bowels of some buildings and, you know, reading the solar meter. But yeah, it's for small systems on 2 fire stations, the senior center, and the library. So they do not have the person who would have known how to do it automated has long since retired. So anyhow, tangential point. You were asking if data had to be entered for the spreadsheet for the reports, and they do not.
Okay.
Sounds like Katie might have been leaning towards volunteering help, which she
Yeah.
has graciously done in the past. And as maybe there's something related to data entry stuff as we figure out the procurement piece, if there's anything related to that in the future, but we don't really know what the process would be, right?
Well, just keep it in the back of your mind that I'm willing to do something like that.
Yeah.
I'm fairly proficient in Excel, and what I don't know, Al does know. So my work.
All right, we'll definitely keep that in mind. Thank you. Any other conversation or thoughts on the resolution? All right, so we'll put that on the agenda for next meeting and yeah, see what additional information we can get and then where we might be able to help encourage more or provide information or whatever. So it's next item, Celebrate Mansfield Festival. It's on the 24th. As you know, we have I think a couple opportunities, and the one that sort of emerged from our last meeting when we were in person. So Ginny, do you want to summarize? I think you're tracking it better than I am.
Sure. So under the purview of the Sustainability Committee, there's going to be 2 booths. One is the Pollinator Pathways, so that regional effort, and Melissa Shared Right is heading that up, and it truly will be a regional effort because there are people from other towns that will be there. So there's going to be activities for kids and for adults signing up to make your property part of the pathway. And then I had talked to Lena, and Lena, I don't know where you're at with this, but to do a booth on climate change. And I think, you know, Lena has graciously said yes, she would help with this, but if, you know, would there be anybody else that would, because you know, I'm going to be all out with the low waste stuff and the solid waste committee booth. So if there are others.
Elena, where do things stand? I mean, I'm not presuming anything. Do you have a sense? Do you have an idea of what, or like, is there educational material? What's needed?
I have an idea for like a Jeopardy type of game, and Ginny has helped supply some questions, and I'm working on other questions to contribute as well. And I'm gonna like make a Jeopardy board with the questions. And then from a few years back, I participated in a Kickstarter for a sustainability book and ended up with a box of these books. So I figured I could probably like have those to give away for people that win the Jeopardy game. And I was thinking about calling it We're in Jeopardy, but I wasn't sure if that was too close to the bone. And I also have been working on a project to create a bike that as you pedal, it creates electricity. So I was thinking about doing some sort of activity to show people a little bit about alternative energy and kind of bring in sustainable energy tidbits and facts that way. I also have some ideas on printable materials and like climate zines that I might be able to find, but I was unsure if I could use printing resources from town to make those or like, I don't know how to go about that.
Yeah, so the one thing that is encouraged at this festival is not to give a lot of handouts. So if there's ways of conveying information with websites or QR codes or things like that, that's encouraged. I mean, that's not going to be 100%, but so just bear that in mind. But yes, printing, yeah, if you have things that are going to be printed, I could do that. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Lena, that sounds awesome. Thank you. So,
But it'd
what
be
else
delicious
do you
if somebody could, you know,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
not
sure-
all on Lena.
Right. So what help do you need and what would you like people to help with? Day
I think
prep?
yeah, I think the only thing that I haven't tracked down is like a pop-up like canopy type of thing. I think I have a table I can borrow and I can bike the chairs up so I in all of the games or whatever. So I think I can get everything up Dog Lane pretty easily because we just live at the bottom of Dog Lane basically. But if anyone has like a pop-up canopy type of thing that we could use, that would be great.
I actually have 2 that we're using for a block party the next day. So yeah, let's be in touch. We'll figure it
Okay.
out. I'll get you one of them and
Okay.
get it back here. How about people staffing the booth with you?
If anybody is available, that would be good, but I've roped my kids in and hopefully they'll help. They hear
Is-
about the stuff all day long, so I know that they're knowledgeable.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
That's right.
Is anyone available? I think if there are a couple of people, what are the hours? It's like 2 to
6.
6. It's a long time
Yeah.
to be on. You know, people in your family may want to walk around and get something to eat and do other things for a while. So any volunteers to help out at the booth?
I'm not volunteering, but I should mention that I won't be available because I organized with Nancy Sylander a EV showcase, doing it under the auspices of the EV Club of Connecticut and Eastern Connecticut Green Action. So sorry not to be available, but busy elsewhere.
Yeah, I am also, unfortunately. It's a busy day now that COVID is over. Other things are happening. Or no, COVID is not
Al
over.
and I
Things
both
that-
are working another booth. Unfortunately.
Okay. Hey, Jen,
I don't really know how much I'm supposed to participate in this.
as much as you want.
Okay.
Except for
Um,
voting.
I should be able to stop by the booth at some point if there's a good time to do that. I would be happy to, Lena, if you want to, pick a time, or I'll just come after a couple hours and see how things are going. My husband as well, who's Bob Peary, we probably would be happy to help out
That's awesome.
if you need it.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you. Do you guys have each other contact information or?
No,
Okay.
I don't thi-
Judy, would
yeah.
you mind just connecting
Yeah.
them because you have both?
Yes.
Okay, great.
thanks, Ginny.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if anyone else finds they, yeah, end up being available and want to help out, or Lena, if you have like needs even beforehand with people helping with things, just reach out and
Perfect.
piece it together.
Great. Thank you.
There will be volunteers at the festival. Usually there's a lot of student volunteers. So if you need help, like setting up or, and also there aren't as many volunteers for cleanup, but there should be volunteers around to help with that, like to get the stuff to, I'm assuming you'll have a vehicle parked somewhere, or maybe not, but you know, to get the stuff out of the square.
I know that the Leo Club at E.O. Smith likes helping out with different things. And Dan Arndt is the advisor there for that club, the Leo Club. So they might be willing to help out. I'm not sure if they're already going to be there doing something, but that would be something to consider as well.
Thanks, Matt. All right, you can reach out as needed. Great. Anything else on Celebrate Mansfield that we should talk about? All right, sounds great. Okay, so the next item is called committee actions. For those of you who are here, you'll remember, and just context for others, at our July meeting, we met in person and sat at the picnic table in front of the town hall, and it was very nice to be together and be outside and yeah, just reconnect after all these Zoom meetings. And one of the main things we focused on was the question, I can't remember how I phrased it, but basically, what is one thing that I'd like to contribute my time to over the next year? So we all kind of answered that question, and people had the idea being like, yeah, there are lots of things we can do as a committee, but we meet and kind of a lot of it ends up on Jeannie's shoulders, and we're all here for a reason. We have some passion about this that brings us to this committee and to these meetings. And so we really want to just kind of tap into why are we each here? Like, what is it that we'd like to see happen in our town? And so we went around the table, literally, and shared. And so the minutes reflect some of the things that emerged from that. And so we just want to hold space for this at each meeting every month as kind of a standing agenda item, so that people can share if they were able to do anything, if they're having trouble, if they've changed their ideas, if they need help, anything that's useful, so we can kind of support each other in yeah, some of the visions that we see we want to be engaged in. So just wanted to open up this time for anyone who wanted to share updates. And I know Katie, for one, had emailed around. So I'm going to start with you, Katie. You can get the ball rolling.
Okay, well, I made a commitment that I wanted to get a article or a paragraph out on Facebook at least once a month. And I got one out there, and I was very, very pleased with the response that it got. It was on plastic, and we had over 55 comments and views of it.
Wow.
So I feel that's 55 people that we touched with the thought of sustainability. And I've got another one that I'm going to be putting out tomorrow. And this one, this is one on sort of what recycle or reuse could be. And one of them is like the containers that we get take-home food in, that instead of going to the store and buying more plastic, reuse those for our leftovers. And I also suggest that if they wanted to save money, have at least one meal a week that's just leftovers. And that way they could save money, but also cut down on the waste that has to go out. The other thing is to, one way recycle hits my mind is, I grew up with a mother that grew up on a farm. And you didn't always have the money to go out and buy something brand new all the time. So you reused or recycled stuff that you had in the house. If you needed a container to store buttons in, you grabbed an old jelly jar or something like that and put them all in that. So what I'm urging is that people think outside the box of different ways to recycle, other than just putting it in the recycling bin, to recycle the use of something. And Facebook also is a great source for some people that are already doing that type of stuff. One I got, and it works fantastic, is using glass jars. Like I use Prego sauce for supper some night. I take the Prego jar, wash it out, and now when I get like celery or radishes or something like that, I put them in these glass jars, and they stay a heck of a lot longer than just in your crisp. And you don't have to buy any fancy bags to try to keep them from going bad. And we all know that the cost of vegetables has gone sky high. So I'm just trying to get people to think, okay, what have I got around the house that I can reuse in another way? So and I'm going to do at least one a month. Who knows, I might even get excited and do 2 a month.
You're awesome. That's great. Thank you. And that's like isn't it like Mansfield Neighbors Facebook page or something?
Yes,
like
it's Mansfield Connection that I put it out on.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I agree, Katie. I think that's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess these are not controversial things because I don't do Facebook, but my wife is part of that group, and I know that when things get too rancorous, then and you know the moderator stops it. But I guess there's nothing too rancorous about spaghetti jars and
Right,
celery.
Katie's about positive change, not rancor.
right.
Great.
And that's it. But yeah, Mansfield Connection, just like the call and discussion board, sometimes the topics that come up are people just venting.
Mhm.
And that's not really the place for it. It's keeping people connected, I think, in a more positive way. So that's what I'm going to try to do.
That's great. Anyone else?
I like to say, I would say, I have my stuff. I never throw out anything. I keep it and use it again. Plastic or anything. I just like to I don't like to throw it out like that. Use it right each time. So it's very good. What she's talking about, it's true. If you have something, jars, anything, use again. Do something else. I like to just throw it out and throw it out. I don't use again. And it's helped a lot. So I like that. It's a great, very good. Very good. Yeah.
That's awesome, Bill. Are you on the Facebook page?
I think so.
Yeah. You can like chime in online too.
Oh yeah, yes, right.
You can,
Yeah,
like,
I can.
add your
Yeah.
tips and whatnot.
Yeah, sure. I can do that.
That's great. Anybody else? Comments on that or wanting to share anything you've been thinking about that you wanted to pursue?
I can go.
Yeah, good.
Um, um, I have no idea what I said at the meeting. My mouth just runs and I have no idea what words come out, but I've gotten a little better since my 20s, but no, I like to like do things that I can point to and say we did that. And Ginny and I have been talking about in the background, and I don't know if this was an agenda item. I didn't see it, but that was my fault. If it's there, it's there. I don't know. But anyway, we've been working on like the waste from the lunchroom in Mansfield. And there's a young lady that contacted Ginny about wanting to sort of rekindle the green team club we had there before COVID hit. And we were doing some things and then COVID hit, and that pretty much, I mean, you have to understand in the schools, we're trying to prevent the spread of COVID, and that was the only priority. And give a quality education, of course, in the meantime. But that kind of everything else, it's like they didn't want to hear it, and I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to either because, you know, we had to deal with COVID. But now that COVID's over, we had this young lady who's rather interested, and she and one of her friends came to see me the other day, and they seem very passionate about wanting to get involved and wanting to do something. And I know we had talked about like the nip bottles and what we could use that money for. But some of the things she was upset about were she was talking about the ketchup packets, the single-use ketchup packets, which I'm sure we use a ton of those, and then the styrofoam trays. So, you know, the thought of getting reusable trays and, you know, the pump bottles for the ketchup, so you don't have to, it's replacing the bag on the inside when it runs out, as opposed to ripping that little, you know, thimble full of ketchup you can squeeze out of there. There's probably more left in the packet than you actually squeezed out of it for your food. But they're pretty excited about doing this. I have to talk to Ginny more about this and all that, or, you know, the committee as a whole here. I'm not sure where we would start, but it's nice to see two kids that are excited. You know, I kind of had a talk with them about we should do things that are actionable and actually make a difference. There's a lot of, I've advised environmental clubs many times over the years and, you know, with various levels of success. And, you know, sometimes when you get the kids that really want to make a difference, it's incredible what they can do. And, you know, it's one thing to go to a climate strike in Hartford and, you know, spend all the, you know, put all the carbon emissions in the air on the way out and our emissions on the way back, and, you know, hoot and holler while you're down there, and then you come home and high five each other, and at the end of the day, all you did was increase the carbon in the atmosphere. And, you know, I was talking to these young ladies and I told them, I said, you know, find something that you can sink your teeth into and point to and say, look what we did on our watch. This is what we did. And if that's stopping the styrofoam trays from being thrown out every single day after day, week after week, 10 months of the year, you know, if you can do that, that would be huge. That's a huge thing that you can point to. The ketchup packets, I think these are easier things to bite off, but yet will have a huge significant impact. So I'm hoping this work can continue. And I'm hoping their enthusiasm continues. I was disappointed to hear they were seniors, because then that means 1 year with them and then they're gone. But I also told them, I said that, you know, part of it would be bringing in some of the younger kids too. And, you know, like that's passing the torch, leaving a legacy, all that stuff has to go on. So you're not starting over every year. You know, the older kids mentor the younger kids. And then when the older kids graduate, the younger kids step up and they pick up where they left off. And, you know, we just keep moving forward, and there's all sorts of things we can do, but I think we need to do something. And it's nice that they already had some ideas. It sounded like they had talked to Ginny a lot, and I think I've just talked for quite a bit. I'm sorry, I run out at the mouth. That's why I'm a teacher. But yeah, any comments you guys have are appreciated.
I just want to fill in, Matt, that Julie Sherman and I went to the Region 19 Board of Ed meeting, and that was last Tuesday, actually. And we asked that the board be supportive of forming a green team or a zero waste team that would have key people within the school community, students, staff. And so I think, you know, it's been noted, right? They've been made aware that this is something that's afoot. So I think the next step is to form that group. And you know, the maintenance person, you know, maybe somebody from maintenance could be there. The new food service director starting this Friday. So if there might be another teacher, well, Julie would be a part of it, and she's a former teacher. So if there's another teacher that wants to be a part of it, just to start outlining, you know, the steps to take, you know, what are we going to do first? And so anyhow,
That's great.
yeah, there's keen interest amongst the Solid Waste Advisory Committee to do this as well. So.
Awesome. And I remember, well, the minutes from last meeting remind me that Susanna volunteered to talk to the new K-8 superintendent about a green team for the elementary schools, right? So maybe we'll hear from her next meeting or something and kind of see how to make the connections. That's great.
Matt, I guess one thing I just need to know is what's a good way to reach you? I don't know if you're there, but all right, maybe not. Okay.
No, I'm fighting with the phone. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing double duty. I had to cook dinner for my kids. I'm watching them by myself tonight. So I'm single dad and just for tonight. But so email's the best thing.
Okay.
I had those young ladies, I asked them to send me their emails, so I have their emails. So that's all ready to rock and roll. Yeah, probably email's the best way, and then kind of set something up. I don't know the new person who's the food person. I think that person's the most important because the previous lady was amazing and she was all on board with all this stuff, and then COVID hit. It's a shame because we were almost there. But yeah, so I think getting her in the loop. Do you know her, Jenny?
No, but I'm gonna make myself known starting Monday.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you could get a feel for where she's at, and you know, I'm just hoping that being new, she's not too I hope she's willing to take on some of these projects. You know, sometimes it's hard enough just being new and getting your feet wet, but hopefully she's willing to take on some of these projects. And so, and then we could just go from there, because these kids seem to be gung-ho. And, you know, I think the other thing too is just managing costs of, it's a shame that sometimes doing the right thing environmentally costs money, but you know, if we had some bottle money or whatever we want, if we could find funding to, you know, buy the trays initially, or you know, I don't know if they're buying ketchup anyway, maybe buying the reusable pack or reuse the pump ketchups isn't such a big deal.
Yeah, Matt, that's not an issue. There's plastic-free
Beautiful.
restaurants, and yeah, so that there's access to money for all that. So,
Okay,
beautiful. I'll be checking in with the new food service director, and then I'll try to line up a meeting for all of us.
All right, sounds good.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks. I mean, we don't need to go through everyone each time, but if anyone has anything else they wanted to report or bring up on, like, kind of personal initiatives you're committed to or interested in doing, feel free to chime in. Otherwise, we'll make time at future meetings as well.
I have another thing if nobody has anything to say, but I talk too much. It can wait till next time if it has to.
Well, let's see. Does anyone else have anything they want to jump in on? Go ahead, Jen. And
Yeah,
Lane-
yeah,
oh,
sorry, it
Lane.
always takes me a while to unmute. I'll just say that, so my husband, some of you know, both of us, Bob, and others of you don't. Bob and I, we spent the last year in Scotland, and we've just been back in Mansfield for a month. And when we were in Scotland, we were living in a small village, and we worked with a couple of different climate action and sustainability groups. And they were doing some really cool stuff in the villages, and we did some pretty interesting things with them. So what we are hoping to do while we're here is to try to figure out how to do some of that in Mansfield. And so without saying any specific goals, we definitely have goals of figuring out how to get more involved in dealing with the climate issue for the town. So I'd be happy to talk with you, Lynn and Ginny, as I know you both, a little bit more about some ideas that we might have.
Yeah, or if you want to
Yeah.
do a little overview at the next meeting when we'll be, talk-
Yeah, at the next meeting, we might have some more ideas. We just got here. So one of the things is sitting in on this meeting. We talked with Peter the other day, and we're just sort of trying to figure some things out. So yeah,
Yeah.
be real happy to share more.
That'd be great. We'd love to hear it. Lena, did you want to chime in?
I think I mentioned previously at one of the meetings, but I really like the idea of climate cafes or, salons where you kind of just create a community gathering sort of situation where people can talk about climate issues, or you can host a researcher or an activist or something just to get people talking, get people thinking. And I don't know, I've been brainstorming some ideas, but I think that especially as it gets a little bit cooler, maybe, I don't know, having a climate cafe would be something cool we could do.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, I think it's an awesome idea. And, I'm sure there are others that would be happy to help or jump in on that.
That's definitely the kind of thing that we've been thinking about. So would love to be able to help with that, to have some community events. It'd be really nice to be able to do them in person, because I think that's a lot more helpful. So climate cafes, films. We started a book club that was really nice. To do a book club would be around sort of environmental or climate issues.
Great.
Could
Yeah.
be good. Yeah.
I definitely would like to hear more about the Scotland. Because recently I just watched a show, and Scotland, and I think Ireland also, and there's also a place in the Scandinavia area that they're leaps and bounds above us. That when it comes to dealing with different things. There was this one town in Scandinavia where they had bins out front of people's houses, and they could walk out just from their front door, and they put their paper in one, they put their cardboard in one, they put their glass in one, and then they put their food stuff in another one. And then that food stuff then went to a landfill that became a huge compost pile.
Oh,
And-
my parents just moved to Sweden, and in Stockholm, their compost is turned into biogas for the buses.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, they're way above us
Right.
in doing some of this, which I was very interested. Like I said, I was glued to this one on TV. And also, they were also having a thing about the plastic dumping ground, that there's a one place in the middle of the ocean where all the plastic is converging, and it actually can be seen from a satellite. It's so big and so dark that a satellite, and I couldn't believe it. We just need to do more.
Katie, you might want to check out, there's this really cool organization called Ocean Cleanup.
Okay,
And they have created devices to clean up that plastic, and they're doing some pretty incredible work.
Yeah.
So if you go to their website, you'll see what they're doing, and I don't know how much more they have to do, but they're taking out a lot. So it's
yeah,
kind of hopeful.
but unfortunately, a lot of the pieces are too small.
Mhm.
And I'm almost at the point where I'm going to give up eating ocean fish because the fish eat the plastic, so we're eating the plastic.
Mhm.
And that's kind of scary. So, but that's my 2 cents worth. But I would be more interested in hearing more about this.
Yeah, great. Okay, so we'll hear more ideas from Jen and her experience. And yeah, Lena, if you have further thoughts about the Climate Cafe, and people can, yeah, so I think there's some synergies with other people on that, so we can see who wants to help make that happen. That'd be great. So let's see, we're at 6:51. We have staff report, Ginny on a few things, and if we have time, I'd like to get back to Matt and hear his other comment, but why don't we move on to the staff report, so make sure we have time for that, and then we'll come back to you, Matt, hopefully.
Okay, so we talked about zero waste school progress. I just wanted to inform you that the Public Works Garage has their solar array up. So that's that. I believe it's gone live. I just learned last week during a staff meeting that the town, and maybe those of you know this already, probably Katie does because of Al, but the town did a building needs assessment. And so the town is looking at how to better manage the growing staff for town hall. So there are some options on the table. One might be conceivably demolishing the town hall and building a mixed use yeah, I mean, I don't know all the details, but that would be one possibility. Another one might be deep renovation, taking it down to the studs. But I think wherever the town goes with this, that this would be a point where the sustainability should really be weighing in, and weighing in the context of resource management and greenhouse gas emissions. And then the Southeast School is demolished, and I would like to get some information on how much material was reused. I mean, some of the soft strippings were actually salvaged. Not too much as far as I know, but then there are other components that were recycled. So maybe this committee would be interested in getting that information back as well. If you are, then I will pursue that. And then the sustainable CT application was submitted in August, and so I think there was an email today from somebody from Sustainable CT, so I should hear back about that sometime soon. But one thing I didn't put on the staff report is the town has hired, well, actually Eastern Highland Health District has hired Nichelle Thompson, who is an emergency preparedness coordinator. And I had, when I was introduced to her, I had asked her, what does that entail? Does it encompass things like being prepared for climate change? And she was like, yes. So I'm just wondering if this committee would like to have a conversation with her at an upcoming meeting about how there could be some injection of the thoughts from this committee, as well as like the work that she does, learn about the work that she does and how there might be some intersections there.
Awesome. I mean, I have a lot to say, but I'm gonna let other people chime in. What do you think? Katie's nodding her head. So yeah, seemed like it'd be great to have this new emergency response person invite her to the meeting.
What's her name again?
Nichelle, and her last name is Thompson, Nishel Thompson. So she works for the Eastern Highland Health District.
Excellent.
All
Yeah,
right, well, I will
you.
invite her then.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't have to be next meeting, whenever. And let's see, the deconstruction or demolition of Southeast. Jenny suggested we might be interested in an accounting of how that all went. Would we like that? Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we certainly chimed in on it to the building committee during the process. So yeah, Ginny, if you're willing to reach out and ask for any information on that. Matt came on with his thumbs up.
Okay. Will do.
Okay. And the building needs assessment. Yeah, that's interesting. If you have any sense of like where it is in the process, or who's in, like, is it a town manager thing, or does it require council, or is one of the departments?
It went to town council
Okay.
on this past Monday, I believe.
Okay.
Yes, Katie's shaking her head. Yeah. So I don't have, I just got kind of a sketch of that this is happening, and I thought that I'm sure the sustainability committee will be invited in to weigh in on whatever is being discussed.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make you aware, if you weren't, that this is something that is being looked at and considered. And so I think the needs assessment is going along. Like decision making, though, is pretty far off.
Although, just like the school decision, we weighed in years ago on how siting was a pretty crucial issue, which of course there were a million other things to consider, but like there are many, many, many decisions before, like, what kind of building do we build or rebuild or whatever, right? So I don't think it's ever really too early. So yeah, let's keep ourselves attuned to that. Any information you hear, if by chance Ryan is able to come and report on climate resolution progress, let's try to remember to ask him about that, because obviously getting to net zero in all buildings is gonna be related to any renovations or decisions about use of new space or creating new space. So yeah, really important.
And I think also that if there is, if there's in this needs assessment, it's determined that there are certain buildings that are going to be demolished or renovated extensively, that we need to have some kind of demolition ordinance, deconstruction ordinance. So which would be under the purview of Sustainability and Solid Waste Advisory Committee. So
yeah, and it'll also touch on Peter's question about the.
But it could also go through planning and zoning too, because they're the ones that give out the permits and everything for big construction. And I don't know if you all know that Holiday Mall is going away. All
Oh,
of the buildings on Holiday Mall. That there's going to be a new housing development put in there called the
Wow.
Standard. And it's going to be all townhouses with, and it will be mixed use. There will be some retail in there, but it's going to be mostly townhouses for families and college kids. So they had a big mall-wide tailgate sale the other day. And with talking with several of the owners, yes, they have certain cutoff dates that they need to be out of there. And if you draw up an ordinance or something like that, we also have a regulatory review committee. And I could get it to them, and they could also put it as part of their review so that when they're dealing with these people, we can also have a little handle on the construction, the destruction, and where it goes and what to do with it.
mhm. Thanks, Katie.
Thanks, Katie.
Yeah.
All right, so it's 7:01. Matt, we're gonna hold your comment till next meeting if that's okay, the other thing you want to pursue. And yeah, I like to just get people out on time. If there's no other final comments, we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, I don't think we really need to vote on it, do we? Okay,
No.
great.
You voted
So
down.
thank you, everyone, and
Thank you.
see you in October.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Jen,
Must
glad
be
you.
a
took
lot
care.
of you
Thanks.
in
Thank you.
September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
September
Fair.
24th.
True, September 24th.